It was 6:30 in the morning when Aisha pressed her cheek against her baby's tiny forehead, whispering a prayer. The child stirred slightly, his breath soft, his eyelids still heavy with sleep. Aisha sighed deeply, brushing away a strand of hair that had fallen across her tired eyes. She knew today would not be easy. In fact, none of her days had been easy in the past 2 years. But today she faced a decision that tore her apart inside, whether to leave her child alone at home or take him with her to work. The cramped one-room apartment smelled faintly of milk and laundry soap. Her baby boy, Ibrahim, had only just turned 1. He was her whole world, the single piece of joy that had kept her moving after her husband's sudden death in an accident. That tragedy had left her not just a widow, but also the sole breadwinner of her little family. She worked long shifts as an assistant cleaner at one of the city's largest corporate buildings, a gleaming tower of glass and steel that represented dreams she could never afford to dream for herself. Every day, Aisha slipped into her worn-out uniform, tied her scarf tightly, and went about scrubbing the floors where executives in shining shoes walked without ever noticing her. But today was different. The woman she had paid to watch Ibrahim had fallen ill and couldn't take him. The neighbors she usually trusted had their own problems. And leaving her child alone, even for a few hours, was unthinkable. So, she made the decision that would change her life forever. She wrapped Ibrahim carefully in a soft blanket, tucked him into a makeshift sling, and held him close to her chest. His warmth was comforting, a reminder that no matter how difficult life became, she had a reason to keep pushing forward. With her heart pounding and fear creeping in, she whispered, "We'll go together today, my love. Mama will take care of you." When Aisha stepped into the towering building with her baby, the stares came almost instantly. The security guard at the entrance raised his brows but didn't stop her. He knew her struggles and often turned a blind eye. But inside, where polished marble floors gleamed like mirrors, and the air smelled faintly of expensive cologne and coffee, her presence with a child looked out of place. She avoided eye contact, bowing her head as she moved quickly to the janitor's closet to collect her supplies. Ibrahim, sensing her tension, whimpered softly. Aisha kissed his forehead and hummed a lullaby under her breath, praying he would stay calm throughout the day. The morning began as usual. She mopped the endless hallways, dusted desks, and emptied trash bins. She worked faster than ever, afraid someone would complain about the baby. Each time Ibrahim shifted or let out a cry, her heart thudded in her chest. She tried to soothe him quietly, bouncing him gently with one arm while scrubbing floors with the other. Her back ached, sweat dripped down her temples, but she kept going. It wasn't long before whispers began. "Is that a baby?" one employee muttered. "Can you believe she brought him here?" another said with a scoff. "She's unprofessional. What if he cries during a meeting?" Their voices stung, but Aisha swallowed her pain. She couldn't afford to lose this job. It was the only lifeline she had. By noon, her worst fear came true. Ibrahim began to cry, loudly. His tiny wails echoed through the office floor where a high-profile meeting was taking place. Aisha's hands shook as she tried everything to calm him down. She rocked him, sang softly, even rushed to the restroom to feed him. But the crying continued, piercing through the pristine silence of corporate order. And that's when he appeared. Zayn Malik. He was the millionaire CEO of the entire company, young, sharp, and known for his ruthless efficiency. He was rarely seen walking through the office floors. When he did, employees froze, whispering about his commanding presence. Today, he had been in the middle of a meeting with foreign investors when the baby's cries interrupted. His assistant had rushed to apologize, but Zayn had simply stood up and followed the sound. Now, he stood before Aisha, his expensive suit flawless, his expression unreadable. For a moment, time seemed to stop. Aisha felt her knees weaken. She bowed her head, trembling. "I'm so sorry, sir," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Please, don't fire me. I had no choice." I couldn't leave him alone. He's all I have." The entire floor had gone silent. Employees peeked from their cubicles, waiting for the explosion. Some smirked, already imagining the humiliation about to unfold. A cleaner, bringing a baby to work? It was absurd to them. But Zion didn't speak immediately. Instead, he walked closer and bent down, shocking everyone, to look at the baby. Ibrahim's cries softened as he locked eyes with the tall stranger. To everyone's surprise, the child reached out his tiny hand, grasping at Zion's tie. The millionaire froze, his eyes flickering with something no one had seen before, tenderness. "His name?" Zion asked quietly. Ibrahim," Aisha stammered. Zion touched the child's hand gently. "Strong name," he murmured. Then he straightened and looked directly at Aisha. His voice was calm, but carried weight. "Come with me." Whispers erupted as he led her through the hallways, not towards the exit, but towards the executive lounge. Aisha followed, clutching her baby, her heart racing. What was happening? Inside the lounge, Zion motioned for her to sit. He picked up the phone, gave quick instructions to someone, and within minutes, a nanny arrived with baby supplies, diapers, formula, toys. Aisha's eyes widened in disbelief. "You'll work here today," Zion said. "Your son will be looked after while you finish your duties. No child should suffer because his mother is doing her best." Tears welled in Aisha's eyes. She tried to protest. "Sir, I don't deserve this. I'm just—" "Don't say just," Zion interrupted firmly. "You're a mother. That's the hardest, most important job in the world." Word spread quickly through the office. Employees who had mocked her now whispered in shame. They had expected anger, but instead, their powerful CEO had shown kindness. For the rest of the day, Aisha worked with a lighter heart, knowing Ibrahim was safe nearby. But that wasn't the end. The next morning, Zion called her into his office. She walked in nervously, clutching her hands together. He gestured for her to sit. "I learned about you," he said plainly. "Your husband's accident. Your struggle to raise your son. And your dedication. You've been working here for 2 years without ever asking for help." Aisha's throat tightened. She had never shared her story with anyone. Zion leaned back in his chair. "This company can afford to do more for people like you. Starting today, we're establishing a childcare center within the building, for employees who need it. And you," he paused, then gave a rare, small smile. "You will no longer be a cleaner. I want you in the community outreach department. Your strength, your compassion, those are qualities we need." Aisha's eyes widened, tears spilling freely now. "Sir, I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Zion replied simply. That day, something remarkable changed, not just for Aisha, but for the entire company. Employees began seeing her not as just a janitor, but as a symbol of resilience. Zion's decision inspired others to treat their colleagues with more kindness, to look beyond appearances and titles. And as for Aisha, she rose from the shadows of hardship to a role where her voice mattered. She continued to work hard, but now with dignity and the knowledge that her son's future was secure. Years later, when Ibrahim grew older, he would often ask his mother about the day everything changed. And Aisha would smile, pulling him close, and say, "It was the day you cried so loudly that even the richest man in the building had to listen. And because of you, the world saw me for who I really was, not weak, but strong." And every time she said it, her heart swelled with gratitude, knowing that sometimes, the smallest cries can spark the loudest changes. The story of the humble employee and her baby spread far beyond the walls of that building. It became a reminder that true power lies not in wealth or status, but in the courage to show compassion. Because when a millionaire paused to see the struggle of a